Hello and welcome to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian here doing a solo episode, bringing you part 2 of Print on Demand design trends in 2024. Now, you probably know that one of the most effective ways to increase your sales is to create for the demand. By knowing what's trendy and what people are actually buying right now, we can create designs and products that meet that demand, and as a result, build a profitable, sustainable brand ourselves. So in this episode, I'm going to be sharing 5 super popular design trends right now that you can use to create for the demand, catch the eye of your target audience, and convert your shoppers into customers. And I just want to say, be sure to stick around to the end because I'm also going to be including 2 bonus tips at the end. But first, real quick, before we jump in, if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast or to our YouTube channel where we also publish these episodes, which you can find in the show notes below. It helps us reach new listeners. It helps you never miss an episode. And it's just a win-win all around. So with that, thank you in advance. We appreciate each and every one of you. And now let's jump in. What's up, guys? Back by popular demand, I am bringing you part 2 of Print on Demand design trends in 2024 that you can jump on to level up your designs, your brand, and most importantly, your sales. Now, if you haven't had a chance to check out part 1, I definitely recommend giving it a listen. It was episode 61. And in there, I shared 6 very popular design trends right now. And I even shared a bonus 7th. So definitely check that out. Today, I'm going to be sharing 5 new design trends, and make sure you listen till the end because I'm actually going to be sharing a couple bonus tips at the end. But before I jump into that, I got to show some love for one of our listeners because if you guys show love for us, we like to show love for you. So this is a shout out to one of our recent 5-star Apple reviews. So shout out to Summer Mackey. Summer, I'm just going to call you Summer. I don't know if that's actually your name or not, but they say, I'm working on starting up my POD biz, and I can't tell you how much value I get from this show. I feel like I have tools in my toolbox after listening for a while to truly get going on a path that will sell and not waste time doing things that don't work. I love the positive energy too. Thank you for your commitment to sharing all the knowledge you have. Man, we really, really appreciate these reviews. And I can't say thank you enough. We are extremely grateful. So thank you, Summer. I wish you all the best. And if you guys are enjoying this podcast and you wouldn't mind leaving us a review, we would love to shout you out. So thank you in advance. You guys are awesome. And let's just jump right into the main event. So I'm going to be sharing 5 trends that are very big right now in the t-shirt and apparel and print on demand space. But before I do that, I actually want to share 2 quick things that I want to say just before I hop into the trends. So the first thing I want to say is I'm always posting content about new design trends over on my Instagram account at Ecom Legends Academy. So if you enjoy these trend episodes and you want to see actual examples of what a lot of these trends look like, or even tutorials, definitely give me a follow on Instagram at Ecom Legends Academy. I'm always posting trends on there. It's nice because it's visual. You actually get to see what it looks like instead of having to Google it while you're listening to one of our episodes. And I also do tutorials showing you how you can create these trendy designs in minutes using some of my favorite design research and design creation tools. So definitely check that out. The second thing I want to mention is that I'm going to be talking about a number of different tools that I use, love, and recommend throughout this episode. And I just want to let you know that I do have special discounts for some of them. There's also free trials for some of them. So I'm going to drop the links in the show notes. So you don't have to go searching for them yourselves. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or another platform, just go to the show notes and you'll find the links there. With that out of the way, let's jump in. So we're going to start with design trend number 1. And I think this is going to catch quite a few people off. I think there's a lot of people that still haven't quite heard about this trend. However, it's been absolutely exploding lately. And I think once you hear about it here, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. So this trend is called coquette. That's COQUETTE. So feel free to Google it and you'll get an idea of what coquette design looks like. But this design trend has absolutely exploded, especially in the last year. I would even say in the last couple of months. I actually use a very popular tool called Everbee, which I'm sure you've heard me talk about. And when I type in coquette there, it actually showed me that there's currently over 2,300 monthly searches for this term just on Etsy, which is evidence that there is high demand for this particular style. And the search volume, the 2,300 plus search volume, that actually fell in the t-shirts and apparel category. So when you search that on somewhere like Etsy or even just Google, you're going to find a lot of t-shirts and a lot of other print on demand products that are incorporating the coquette style. Now, if you don't know what coquette is, let me briefly explain what it is. So coquette it's a very feminine design trend that incorporates a number of elements. So some of the most common elements that I see in coquette designs are bows, lace, hearts, cherries, strawberries, and many times the designs are pastel colors. For example, one very popular coquette design that I've been seeing everywhere lately, and you may have seen this as well, but didn't know that it fell in the coquette category, is a graphic of one or two cherries or one or two strawberries. And at the top, it has like a pink bow. Does that ring a bell? Is that something that you've seen? Because this is something that I'm seeing everywhere right now. I'm seeing it on wall art. I'm seeing it on shirts. I'm seeing it on cell phone cases. It's just really, really popular. And I've actually met a very successful print on demand seller who's been absolutely killing it with these coquette inspired designs. So I do want to encourage you to try this out for yourself. Now, what I will say about coquette is it's not going to work for every niche, right? Like if you are in a very male dominant or very kind of blue collar niche, this is the opposite of that. This is very girly and dainty and feminine. And it's very popular with females, not so popular with males that I have seen up to this point. But hey, who knows? That might change. So design trend number 1 right now, which is absolutely huge, is coquette. The last thing I want to say about this is I've also been seeing it on a lot of home decor, as well as blankets. So a lot of people are creating these coquette inspired designs. And it might be a pattern with a bow and then a cherry and then a heart and then another bow and then another cherry and then a heart. And they're putting it on these big fleece blankets, which are super popular with print on demand right now. The fleece velveteen blankets, very, very popular, great profit margins on those too. So that's just one use case for this, but I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it on shirts and I'm seeing it on the wall art. I'm seeing it on blankets and a whole bunch of other products. So think about it. You may want to try to implement this into your designs. And my tip, which I'm going to expand on this a little bit, but I'm just going to say it while we're talking about coquette, is try to implement this with your niche. Like try to figure out a way to blend the two, blend the coquette trend and your niche together. This is going to be very powerful because you're going to have on-trend designs, but they're going to be original for your niche. So if your niche wants these fashion forward, these on-trend designs, which a lot of people do like wearing, they're popular for a reason, then you can deliver that to them, right? You always want to create for the demand. Remember that. You always want to create for the demand. And if there's demand there, amazing. Try it out for yourself. This really goes for any design trend though. Like I wouldn't just create a random coquette design if I'm in the dog niche. That would be super random. It would be off niche. It would be maybe a bit off-putting for your audience. They're gonna be like, what is this? What does this have to do with dogs, right? They're following you because they're dog lovers and they love your dog inspired brand. So I highly recommend trying to blend the two together. All right, design trend number 2. This is Y2K Elements. So this is another massive design trend that is absolutely taken off lately. So using Everbee, I was able to see that Y2K currently has almost 5,200 monthly searches just on Etsy. That is only on Etsy. And this trend, it was actually very popular back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. So it might actually be familiar to a lot of you, a lot of our listeners, but it kind of just fizzled out and disappeared. And now it's making a huge comeback. It's been making a very big comeback lately. And what it is, it's kind of old school. It's kind of an old school design trend. And I notice that it has a lot of shiny, glittery, metallic, and futuristic elements. However, I also noticed that it also uses a lot of bright neon colors. So it can be both, but it kind of blends the two as well. It's very interesting. Some popular design elements that I notice on a lot of Y2K inspired designs are disco balls, stars, hearts, flames, pool balls, like for the game pool, and checkered backgrounds. These are just a few. Butterflies is another one. I forget if I just said that or not, but butterflies is also very popular with Y2K Elements. And you can just Google Y2K design and you'll see examples of this. But I want to share a couple design hacks with you, in particular with Y2K. So one of my absolute favorite design tools is Kittl. I recommend Kittl. And what I like about it is it has a lot of trendy, professional, pre-made design templates that you can use to create your own original designs. For example, you could literally go into Kittl and just search Y2K. Like if you have a Kittl account right now, go in and try searching Y2K, and it's gonna pull up a ton of pre-made Y2K inspired t-shirt designs. Pre-made t-shirt designs. And from those templates, you can simply change out the text to make it relevant, to make it original and relevant to your niche. You can change out the design elements. So maybe you don't even change out I would probably change out the text, but you can also change out any design elements that you want. You can change the colors, you can do whatever you want, and you're good to go. This is one of my absolute favorite features of Kittl. These pre-made design templates, they do like 80 to 90, maybe even 90%, 95% of the work for you. And any way that we can save time as print on demand and apparel business owners is very welcomed, in my opinion, because and I know that we all wear a lot of hats. In most cases, we're the design creator, we're the marketer, we are the website builder. We wear all the hats, right? Especially your customer support. So anything that we can do to kind of reduce our workload, this is great. And so I definitely recommend checking it out. And I do have a Kittl promo code for my community. So if you're you can try it out for free and see if you like it. If you like it, awesome. If you don't, no worries. Just don't use it. Use Canva or Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever your preference is. But I have absolutely fallen in love with this design tool. And I've been collaborating with Kittle because I love it so much. I've been spreading the good word. And they actually gave me a code to share with my followers, which gives you 25% off the first month of a pro plan if you use the code AdrianTT. So if you do want to try it out for yourself, I'll leave that in the link below. And I know a lot of you are already using it because a lot of my students are listeners of the podcast, and I know that they use and love Kittle. So I just want to bring it up because I'm all about simple strategies that work, right? We want to just be as efficient as we can because, like I said, and like we all know, we wear a lot of hats. All right. Design trend number 3. This one is very cool. I actually personally am very drawn to this. I love the aesthetic of this, and that is Boho Mystical. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this trend incorporates a lot of line art. So it incorporates a lot of line art elements such as suns, moons, crystals, feathers, portal shapes, arrows. Certain flowers. There's just a whole slew of elements that kind of go hand in hand with the boho mystical trend. The designs, they tend to use a lot of earthy pastel colors. So you're going to see things like the pastel brown, which is super trendy right now, pastel pink, another one that's super trendy, pastel green, pastel peach, pastel orange. There's a whole bunch of these kind of washed out pastel muted colors, and it's very trendy across the board. However, I noticed that in a lot of the boho mystical designs, these are used. Now, kind of to counter that, I also noticed that a lot of these boho mystical designs, they use gold, silver, and black colors as well. So you're probably going to see both, but I want to share an example of one that's very, very big right now. And that is, and this still falls under the boho mystical, and that is tarot card inspired designs. So for anyone that doesn't know what a tarot card is, just Google it and immediately you'll probably realize that you've seen it somewhere. It's spelled Tarot. And this tarot card trend, it's huge right now. And actually, if you go into Kittle, if you're using Kittle, just type in tarot or tarot card, and you'll actually see pre-made design templates of tarot card inspired designs. And again, they're going to do 80 to 90% of the work for you. So you can just go in there, you can change out some words, you can change some elements, change out whatever you want. But in a lot of cases, you really do not have to change out much because these are professionally made designs. They look incredible. They look very professional. And one thing I love about Kittle too is they're very up to date on the trends. So if there's something trendy right now, like retro groovy, for example, you can just type that in and you'll get a whole bunch of pre-made designs, a whole bunch of elements, all the good things. So definitely recommend checking out Boho Mystical if it makes sense for your niche. Now, I actually think that this could be incorporated in a lot of different niches. You don't have to be in the boho niche. You don't have to be in the mystical, the spiritual niche. You don't have to be in any of those niches to incorporate these designs. You can create hilarious and niche specific designs in other niches. So maybe you do a tarot card inspired design with a dog on the tarot card and there's some really funny slogan on it. I'm just throwing a random idea out there. But my point is, it is not niche specific. So if you do think that your audience would like this, or if you want to just test it out, right? Then by all means, try to figure out a creative way to incorporate that into your niche. Try to incorporate the design, make it relevant to your niche. And this could really take off for you because it is really trendy, right? In a bit, I'm actually going to give you an example of a brand that I've talked about before, and I think they do an absolutely incredible job of blending the latest design trends specifically with their niche and they're absolutely killing it. They've made over 1 million sales, and they've probably made a lot more than that. That was last time I checked. So I'm going to talk about them in a bit, but let's move on to design trend number 4, and that is university style. So I have touched on this before, but I want to touch on it again because it is very big right now and it is absolutely killing it. You might know what I'm talking about when I say university style, but this trend, it is not just popular in the university niche. Yes, it's very popular in the university niche. However, it's also very popular in other niches. So the design trend, just to kind of explain it briefly, is when you see these big blocky letters going across the chest, and it's particularly popular on sweatshirts. So I see a lot of these mock-ups. A lot of them are Etsy mock-ups of a female wearing an oversized sweatshirt, and she's got some big university style design. Well, the mock-up doesn't, but what people are doing is they're getting these mock-ups of these females wearing these oversized sweatshirts, and then they're overlaying the university style design. So examples, I want to mention one more thing before I jump on examples. So this style, I'm actually noticing that it's on a lot of it's printed on a lot of sweatshirts. So using direct to garment, which is the most popular print method for print on demand companies. However, another really big trend is doing large embroidery. So instead of having the design, let's just say it says mama across it, instead of it just being printed on with direct to garment, a lot of people are having it done with large embroidery saying mama, and it looks really cool. It also gives it more of like a premium look, kind of an elevated look, and I would definitely charge more for that if you are doing the big embroidery. But both are very popular. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, examples of classic styles that that I see this trend on very, very commonly is colleges, cities, states. So examples of that could be Harvard. I don't recommend putting Harvard on your sweatshirts because that's an institution. It could be a trademark infringement or a trademark violation. Just avoid anything like that. But I'm just giving examples that you've probably seen just kind of walking the streets. Harvard, Newport, New York. These are all really Los Angeles, Sedona. These are all really popular ones that I've seen people out in the streets and I've seen them at other shops. And this is where kind of the trend I feel like was based around. I feel like it started maybe on college campuses. I don't know for sure. But what I do want to say is that it is absolutely taken off on a number of other niches that are not a college or a city or a state. So don't think that it has to fall into that category and that you are going to rule out this design trend. I am seeing this do really well in the nurse niche, the teacher niche, the mom niche. That is the one where I probably see it the most right now, and really countless other niches. So a specific example, which I think I shared in a past episode, but a really specific example of one that I'm seeing right now a lot is the big sweatshirt. A lot of them are the Gildan 18,000 sweatshirts, and they say mama across the chest in these big blocky letters. And then below it, what you'll see is some smaller letters. A lot of times they're still a block font. Not always, but you'll see smaller letters. And a lot of the times it'll say a year. So for example, it might say established 2024. That makes a lot of sense, right? Because this shirt is going to be relevant for all the new moms in 2024. So that's one that I'm seeing everywhere right now. And that's just one example. There are so many out there. Now, before I jump into the 5th trend, I just want to share some of the blocky fonts that I use and love. And based on whichever platform you are finding your fonts, hopefully these will cover them. So the three places that I go most commonly, the three places that I actually have paid accounts with are Kittl, Canva, and Creative Fabrica. And these are all places I love getting fonts. I've bought fonts from other places, I've downloaded fonts from other places, but these are my favorite three platforms to get fonts. So I'm hoping that you're using one of these, because I'm going to make a recommendation of a block font that I really like on each of these platforms, so that if you're already using it, you can just go and you can just use that font. You don't have to sign up for another program or pay for this font somewhere else. So if you're using Kittl, one of my favorite block fonts, it's called University. It's all one word, and it's spelled Univercity. So the actual spelling has the S, right? Sity. But this is City. So if you're in Kittl, you can search for that. You'll probably also see it in a lot of designs, because a lot of the pre-made designs use the blocky font because it's trendy, right? Now, if you're using Canva, my favorite block font in Canva is called Yearbook, spelt exactly how it sounds, Yearbook, Yearbook. And then if you're using Creative Fabrica, my favorite block font in Creative Fabrica is called College Block. Notice that they all have college kind of varsity inspired names. That's because that's what this font is mainly known for, these big blocky letters. But and that's what they're used for right now. But there's a lot of ways that you can use these and apply them to your own design. So for example, let's just go back to a dog example. I'll give one more quick example and we'll jump on to number 5. In the dog niche, one that I've seen is dog mom or dog dad. And what they'll use the big blocky letters for dog mom or dog dad, and they might even take that a step further and put established 2024, which is kind of hilarious. But that's just another example of how it can be used on another niche. You could do plant mom if you're in the gardening niche. That's a passionate niche, plant mom, and you can even do established 2024, whatever you want, right? But I do recommend giving this a try on at least one of your designs and just see how it goes, right? You don't need to put on all your designs, but you can test it out. I can't promise you that your design is going to crush it, because really when it comes down to it, it's what the design actually says. If it's funny and relatable, those are the ones that I see perform the best. But if it's emotion evoking and relatable to your ideal customer, then it can perform really well. And what I can tell you is that it's performing really well right now for a lot of other niches. So remember, success leaves clues. If we can create for the demand, if we can identify where the demand is, like design trends, for example, and then we can create for that demand and incorporate these very popular, trendy design styles and blend them with our own niche, then that's going to improve the likelihood that the design is going to perform well, in my opinion, versus just creating something totally random that's not based off any sort of style that's performing well right now. So that's the last thing I'm going to say about that. That was design trend number 4, and that's university style. Now, design trend number 5, we have talked about this before, but I have to bring it up again. This is actually, I would say, a very evergreen design trend. This is not one that that has really ever gone out of style. So this is personalized designs and products. So personalized products, they've been big for a very long time. I think I started selling personalized products back in like 2017, 2018, and they've just seemed to continue growing in popularity, especially on platforms like Etsy. So I definitely think that this works better for some niches than others. I just want to be really upfront about that. I don't think it always works for every niche. I mean, I've been surprised by some of the niches that it's been used in. However, I feel like some it's a very natural fit for. Some of the most popular ones that I see out there very frequently are the dog niche, where you have your dog's name on it, or a unique breed, for example. The cat niche, that's another one. The mom niche, that's a very popular one. And this is just naming a couple, but I've seen it so many other places. So I don't want you to rule it out, but I just want to say that it seems like one of those trends that personalized designs perform better in some niches than others. Now, there are a lot of ways to offer personalized products. So some print on demand companies, they actually have built-in functionality that you can use to create personalized products. And that's awesome, right? Because it's all in one place. But that's not the only way. There's also popular plugins. So for example, there's a very popular plugin called Hello Custom, and I'll drop the link in the show notes because this is one that if you're looking to incorporate personalized designs, and let's say you're on a platform like Printify, this is what a lot of Printify sellers are using right now to offer personalized products. And it is very popular. I can't specifically vouch for it and say it's great because I've never personally used it. However, what I can say is that this is one of the most popular plugins right now for creating personalized designs. So check it out, make a decision for yourself. But that's just another option. So you've got the built-in functionality with some print-on-demand companies. Then you've got the plugins like Hello Custom. And then another way that a lot of people are doing this, well, two ways. One, they're either doing it manually, which can be very time consuming if you're making a lot of sales. So that would not be my recommendation. And then the other way is a lot of brands are actually outsourcing this to virtual assistants. So they're actually completely outsourcing this to virtual assistants that they find on somewhere like Fiverr or somewhere like Upwork. And I've actually had students that have done this. So I've had students who have had they offered personalized designs, and it was more they did it more on wall portraits, like wall art, and it actually did quite well for them. And they would have someone from Fiverr or Upwork create these designs, and they had a very reasonable turnaround time. So they were just able to set those clear expectations with the customer, and then they were able to send them these super cool personalized products. So I've also sold a lot of personalized products over the years. And so what I will say about it, I want to be real about this because I actually don't think that everyone should be doing this right out of the gate. So while I did make a lot of money in that brand where I did offer personalized products, what I will say is that they never outperformed my best-selling non-personalized designs. And this is just my experience. I'm just sharing my own experience with you. There are definitely a ton of sellers right now that are absolutely crushing it with personalized designs. But I was in a niche. So I was in the dog niche, and it made a lot of sense for my niche to offer personalized designs. And what we did is we took our best performing normal designs, non-personalized designs, and then we turned those into personalized designs. And while they did sell, we just found that they never outperformed our best-selling non-personalized designs. And that doesn't mean that that's going to be the case for you. That they might absolutely crush it for you. And like I said, they are crushing it for a lot of people. I'm not trying to discourage it at all. However, I want to kind of end this design trend with a bit of a word of caution. So this is not actually something that I generally recommend people start offering right out of the gate. I have a lot of students who are doing personalization. Some are having success with it. Some are very frustrated with it. People, it's different for everyone. But the reason why I don't recommend focusing this right out of the gate, unless, of course, your entire brand is based around personalized designs and products, then if that's the case, absolutely go all in. You'll figure it out. And it's going to become second nature to you because it's all you do, right? So if that's your main focus, there's a lot of brands out there doing that very, very successfully. And I say absolutely go for it. But the reason why I don't recommend it to everyone at the beginning is that what I found is that a lot of people, a lot of my students have got really hung up on personalized designs at the beginning. And it's just not as simple as not creating non-personalized designs, right? So you might have to use a plugin, you might have to hire a VA, you might have to learn some new functionality in your print on demand company. It can also lead to more support questions, people emailing you or DMing you, asking you questions about how it works. Maybe it didn't come out right. And so, they might say, oh, this is wrong, I want another one. It's not as seamless as creating non-personalized designs. And so I just want to share that kind of word of caution. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm really big on simple, proven strategies that work. This is a proven strategy that can work. Now, you could make an argument that it is simple, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, right? But in my experience, what I've seen is some people have gotten very overwhelmed by it, especially if they don't have a really simple way to do it, if they don't have the built-in functionality, or if they're not aware of the plugins or something like that. And what I notice is it slows down their progress. And we don't want that. We never want you stuck. We never want your progress being slowed down. So if I were starting a brand and I wanted to offer personalized designs, but not make it the entire brand, what I would do is I would first go through all the steps of building my brand. I would choose my niche. I would create a couple non-personalized designs. I would build my website. I would start marketing my products. I would start making sales. And then I would personally implement this as a phase 2 initiative. So I would get everything else set up and, the wheels spinning, the ball rolling, my brand growing, lots of sales coming in. And then I would try offering this as a phase 2 initiative. Now, you don't have to take my advice on this. You can absolutely go out, and some of you are going to be like, wow, that was super easy. Like, that was no problem at all. And that's awesome. I want that for you. I want that for everybody. However, I'm just saying that I have noticed that quite a few people struggle with this or they get overwhelmed by it. And I just don't want to see you stall, right? You want to harness your momentum. And I just want you to continue moving forward. So it's coming from a good place. And I just want to kind of put that warning out there. All right. Okay. Now, I want to just recap the 5 design trends that we talked about. And then I'm going to share a couple bonus tips with you. So, the 5 design trends, going over them from number 1. Number 1 is coquette. COQUETTE. Number 2 is Y2K Elements. Number 3 is Boho Mystical. Number 4 is the university style. And number 5 is personalized products. These are all very trendy right now. And if you can find some way to incorporate one or some of these into your designs, well, I think that your chances of those designs performing well are better than if you're choosing something that's not really in trend right now. That said, a lot of designs, they can be purely text-based. So you could create one with just blocky letters. It doesn't have to have any design elements or graphics or anything. So I'm not saying that other designs won't work. I'm just saying, going back to what I said earlier, create for the demand, right? If you know there's a lot of demand for this style, then find a way to blend it with your niche. And that, to me, is a good recipe for success. So let's talk about the bonus tips. I've got 2 bonus tips that I want to talk to you about. So, bonus tip number 1 is I just want to make it very clear that not all trends work in every niche. So, for example, we talked about coquette. This is a very popular design trend right now, but it's also a very feminine design trend. So if you are targeting females, your chance of this doing well is significantly higher than if you are targeting male blue collar mechanics, right? If you're targeting male roughneck blue collar mechanics, they're probably not going to be want to wear a shirt with cherries and a pink bow on top. I mean, maybe I'm generalizing. I could be wrong. But I'm just gonna take a wild guess and guess that wouldn't do well for that niche. So if I were in that niche, I would not be incorporating the coquette design trend in my designs unless I was targeting like feminine mechanics, female mechanics. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear. Some of these you might want to pass on if you don't think that they're relevant for your niche. However, what I will say is think outside the box, because you may think that it's not relevant to your niche. So let's just go back to the dog niche, right? You may be like, oh, I'm in the dog niche. There's no way I can incorporate this feminine coquette design trend. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. So you can create designs that incorporate elements of coquette. So maybe you have a dog and it's wearing a pink bow, or maybe you have a dog and it's holding some pastel cherries with a pink bow on it. I don't know. All I'm saying is there are a lot of niches that I think people might not think that they can incorporate some of these design trends in that they actually could. However, I also believe that there are some that they just probably wouldn't work very well. Going back to my coquette for alpha male blue collar mechanics, I just don't think that would do well. All right. Pro tip number 2 is if you are going to use these designed elements or these trends that I'm talking about, I highly, highly recommend finding a way to blend the trend with your niche. And a brand that I think does an absolutely incredible job at this is Elevated Faith. So Elevated Faith is a trendy Christian-inspired apparel brand, and they are so good at incorporating the latest product and design trends into their products. So on their shop. And you see this a lot there. So for example, we've talked about this before, but the Stanley mug tumbler, that absolutely has been blowing up lately. It's an extremely popular trend. And Elevated Faith, they were actually very quick to hop on that trend. So if you go on their website right now, you're going to see a whole bunch of mugs that look exactly like the Stanley mug tumbler that has been going viral for the last couple of months. But here's where it differs. They actually created original products. So if you look at the actual Stanley mugs, a lot of them are just solid muted colors. So it's just this big mug with a handle and a straw, and you see them in pastel pink, pastel green, all the popular trendy muted kind of pastel colors right now. And Elevated Faith did the same thing. They also offer them in a lot of the muted colors, some non-muted colors. However, what they did is they blended it with their niche. So if you go on their website and you look at their collection, yes, they have an entire collection now for these Stanley-inspired mugs, but every single one is on niche. Like they make reference to God or a Bible quote or something that's just very on niche for them. I didn't see any that were just solid colors with no design like Stanley. So what I love about this is they've taken this very, very trendy product and they found a way to create original products by blending the trend with Christianity. And they look amazing. Like they look absolutely incredible. And last time I was on there, I saw that a bunch of them were already sold out. A lot of them are also bestsellers on their website. So this is a perfect example of a brand that found a way to capitalize on a very viral trend. And this is just one example. So it's not just the mugs. That's just an example of a trending product that they found a way. But if you actually look at their designs, if you go and you look at their new arrivals, they're always on trend. They're using popular bubbly fonts, maybe wavy fonts. They just do such a good job. They do such a good job incorporating these trendy design elements and Christianity. And it's one of the best like companies that I've seen at doing this. There's a lot out there that are doing this. But my point is, bringing it back to the point is I highly recommend you do the same. Like if you're in the dog niche, don't just go and create coquette inspired design blankets with cherries and bows on them because it's random. It's random. It might be off-putting for your niche. They're like, is this a general store? I thought this brand was for me. I thought this brand got me, right? Instead, blend the two. And I think that that's the way that you can have the most success. So I wanted to share those two pro tips with you, those two bonus tips. And I think I'm going to wrap it up there. We have talked about a lot. We've been going on for a long time about these design trends. I do want to say, if you did enjoy this episode, let me know by DMing me on Instagram at Ecom Legends Academy. I love hearing from you guys on Instagram. You can also drop comments in the YouTube channel. So definitely reach out to me. After the first episode, I said this. I said, if you enjoyed this episode, DM me and I will create a part 2 if a lot of you guys liked it. And guess what? A lot of people DM me and here it is, right? Like this podcast is for you. We want it to be for you. So whatever you are enjoying, let us know so that we can create more of it. I love talking about trends. I love it because I've had a lot of success incorporating trends into my niche inspired designs, and I know you can too. So if you do like it, let me know, DM me on Instagram, and don't forget to check out my channel. Like if you do want to see what these trends actually look like, and if you want to see some tutorials on how to create designs using these trends, that's what I do a lot of on Instagram. I love talking about it, so I share a lot on there. I also am going to be sharing more on my YouTube channel coming up. So I'm going to have links to all that stuff below, but definitely check it out. And I'm going to sign off there, but I just want to say to everyone listening, I'm very grateful for you. I really, really appreciate you. And I just want to acknowledge you for being here, for listening to me, for listening to our podcast and educating yourself. This is, look at you improving yourself. I just want to kind of celebrate you for that. You deserve to be celebrated. And I want to just tell you to keep going. You're doing a great job and you're here, you're showing up, you're educating yourself. I want you to go out there. I encourage you to go out there and take action. So thank you for being a listener. Stay awesome. And remember, you're always just one design away. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us an honest review on whichever platform you're listening from. Thank you so much in advance, and we'll talk to you very soon.